And if any of these you can answer those in the
See, I appreciate your guidance in terms of what we just accomplished, because it makes the process flow smoother, and we're moving along, and I feel like we're making progress.
Good.
Good.
And I didn't mean to be overly critical,
No.
I hope you didn't take it that way.
No,
We want to make sure.
We want help.
Well, we want to make sure we're going as far as we should be in terms of putting together, a 4 or 5 column table and trying to condense it and make it as easy to look through as possible. But again, too, perhaps we may even have some time, since there's 2 weeks before the next meeting, try to get it done, set it out ahead of time, perhaps,
Yeah.
so you can review it, so we don't have to walk through
that would be
it line by
really
line
helpful.
either.
That would be helpful, but we need guidance, so.
Well, and as I said, I appreciate Mike's perspective as well.
We're so happy you're on this. We have 7 points. The field trip we all know we're gonna be doing on August 7th, so that's already been addressed. Research the language and comparison city codes regarding description of private streets, and we're working on that because that's something we wanted to incorporate into our
Yep.
recommendations. RP2 and RP3 to see what Leeson and Olathe have done and how it compares with residential mixed use.
Sure.
Will we do that on our tours pretty much?
I think so. Again, some of that here too, just in this one, slideshow's ready.
Reduce side setback on low density multifamily, right 1 equivalent to 0, okay. Provide a definition of active open space. I think we're gonna have that
Yep.
addressed in our code exactly. Determine where a clubhouse with active is falling under building coverage. We decided not to include that.
Yep.
And we finished our proposed zoning ordinance. Okay, wow.
Can you give me an idea of how you see, the presentation that's going to be made to the council? What is that going to look like?
It's gonna be a PowerPoint slide presentation. And what basically we're going to do is all of the zoning recommendations that we have made so far, any of the design standards that we will make, will be on that slideshow saying these are the recommendations that we've made. And I think it would probably be helpful if we could say, this is Olathe's, this is Lee Summit's, this is, and kind of give them a feel for what we're recommending. I don't know if that's answering your question.
So how much time are we going to have to make this presentation?
I would hope we could do a slideshow in 15 minutes.
And who will be putting the slideshow together?
Staff will be assisting me in preparing it.
Okay.
You won't have to worry about it. How's that for an answer?
Is that what you're getting towards?
May
Don't
ask-
beat the
May ask for a little help from you, Dr.
It is
Browse, but,
covering the base.
and I would say when we do the presentation on the 18th, it would be terrific if all the members of the committee could be there to be introduced, because, we're all working awful hard on this. But, the plan that I would think we would do is just to kind of execute it is to have a slideshow, go through what we've recommended, and at that point, we'll probably have a recommendation regarding the moratorium and where we see that at. And, as we discussed previously, we definitely want to have workshops with the developers to get input from them. We're going to need to have public hearings, but hopefully we will have completed our task in 90 days and we'll be able to hand it over to staff and the city council at that point. Would be the goal, which would be a lot in 90 days, so.
Can staff look at, and I know this is kind of a small item, but give your recommendations on labeling of the zoning? I know we're not going to be using the MF 10, MF 14, MF 18 now. Because it doesn't match, but give your recommendations on that.
Recommendations on what we're going to do.
What you going to call it? Are we going to call it?
Okay.
I think
RP?
this is what we're recommending. Keep the TF, MF10, MF14, MF18.
If it's MF10, MF 14, MF 18, would that follow what the density levels are?
Yep.
Similar to our current ordinance.
Right.
Right, I'm talking about is our density,
Yep.
it matches
Yep.
10 acre, or 10 unit per
14
acre.
and 18, yep. And until we again, I think looking at all the residential zoning districts as a whole,
Then we'll change.
yeah, then we might look at different, labeling for those, I think.
What do you think?
Was that?
I thought it was like, I think the high density I thought was like 24. There was a,
Well, no, the super high density was MF20.
yeah.
But what we
No, our
have now
current
is
ordinance is
currently-
MF20 is our highest.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's going away
so,
into the
yeah.
MF18, MF14, adding a new MF10.
So MF18 goes from 18 to
Anything above. Yeah.
At our next meeting, staff's gonna come back with some comparison studies of other communities. The one thing that we do wanna address as a committee is the current multifamily that we have in Blue Springs, and incentive programs, and ways that we can make recommendations to the council to improve our current multifamily regarding those. So that's something we will be discussing and addressing in our next meeting. Also, I know Michael Parker has brought this up to me, I've discussed it with staff, making a recommendation regarding a first-time homebuyer program and whether that would work or not work in our community. I know we don't have a housing authority, but if that, at least give us some kind of guidelines and recommendations that we can give to the council on that. So those will probably be the two issues we're gonna be addressing. Bob McDonald is drafting he discussed with us at our last meeting, different ways that you could incorporate legally standards regarding the amount balanced with the single family. So he's gonna have something for us to look at, and kind of, we can decide not to make that recommendation, but we'll include that in the slideshow to the council. We looked at the legalities. I know we all were pretty frightened after hearing from Bob McDonald, you know, regarding going down that road regarding a number and restricting the amount of multifamily. But it's something certainly that will be asked at the meeting. It's something we need to address. We'll have something ready to look at and decide if we wanna go down that road or not go down that road, but we will, have that ready to look at, to vote
You know, it's
on.
my understanding though, there are some communities that have gone down that road in terms of targets.
in
as
California.
far as-
California.
But you're looking at complete different animal. California.
We'll have that, what I've been doing, Bob McDonald has been working with staff, and we're gonna have something drafted and ready to vote on. And it's gonna have spelled out specifically how we could actually achieve that, and whether that is, something that we want to do or not recommend as a committee. And again, we won't be making that decision. That is a recommendation merely that we'll be making to the city council, and they'll have the final say. But I wanna make sure that we cover everything that's gonna be asked of the council, we need to address. And that's certainly